Hey everyone, today I have the opportunity to present you with this brand new 2020 Kia Telluride. This is the largest model in Kia's lineup and possibly the most luxurious as well. So I'm going to walk you guys around the car, give you a bit of a tour, talk about the powertrain and the performance specs, and of course those all important exterior and interior features and technologies. So let's get right into the review. Starting off in the front of the Telluride, Kia gave this model a very striking design to the front fascia of this car, very reminiscent of Land Rover actually, especially in the way they have this Telluride lettering up on the hood. But overall, it's a fantastic design. I love these sharp, square LED headlights. That's right, you get standard LEDs up front, and also this gorgeous Kia-style tiger nose grille in this very dark metallic plastic material, which is very, very nice, sophisticated touch. And you also get these little side vents here on the side, and normally in cars, those are fake vents added for styling and things like that. Well, here in the Telluride, they are completely functional and help with some of the aerodynamic aspects of the Telluride. Other features include available 18 or 20-inch rims, a very stylish rear design as well, just like the front of the car, very sharp looking. I love these taillights they have back here. Again, a little bit reminiscent of Land Rover's cars, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. And finally, it's topped off with an available dual exhaust tip setup back there that comes with the higher trim levels. All around, it is a fantastic looking car, and it functions as well because it has 8 inches of ground clearance overall. So if you did want to take this car off the road, you could do that. Now let's hop in the interior and check out some of the awesome features they have in there. The interior of the Telluride can seat up to 8 passengers, although that is reduced to 7 if you remove that middle seat of the second row to have the optional captain's chairs. The front driver's seat is available with 10 or 12-way power adjustability in this very nice leather material. And when I say leather material, I do mean that it's not the highest quality leather I've seen in a car, but it's fairly tough, which kind of adds to that rugged off-road feel, and they are very comfortable, and they're pretty large as well. In fact, this interior overall is very large, as you can imagine from looking at the exterior, but it's really surprising just how big they managed to make these seats. And I've always said it, Kia does a great job with their seats. They may not look like much, but they are incredibly comfortable. You also get a standard leather-wrapped steering wheel. Here, the leather I'm noticing is a little bit less tough because you're going to be touching this more than you're touching your seat, so it feels very nice in your hands. And you also have an available leather-wrapped gear knob here. This is not selected in this model, but even with the base material here, it has a very nice, solid feel to it. Also up in the dashboard, you get a standard 8-inch infotainment touchscreen, but you can pay a little bit extra and have that upgraded to 10.25 inches if you're looking for a little bit more technology. And speaking of technology, you also get a standard 3.5-inch TFT trip screen here on the gauge cluster. And speaking of the gauge cluster, it's got a very nice design to it. I definitely like the way they have it set up. It is analog, not fully digital like luxury cars would be, but it does have a fantastic design to it. It almost feels more sophisticated than all digital would be. And here on the center console area, which has a surprising amount of storage space, you also have the drive mode selector, a little rotary knob here that allows you to select between the 5 available drive modes. You've obviously got Eco, Comfort, Sport, Smart, and Snow. Other optional features include the available dual sunroofs and 64 color ambient lighting. But standard, you do get 21 cubic feet of cargo space in the trunk. But if you fold down the third row seats and remove the second row seats, you can get up to 87 cubic feet of cargo space, which is really impressive, especially when you consider that the maximum towing capacity of this car is right at 5,000 pounds even. So you can carry quite a lot of stuff with this car. It may not be quite up to the same standards as a luxury SUV would be from, say, Audi or Land Rover, but it is pretty dang nice for the price. Now hopping back to the second row of the Telluride, I've actually moved to a different model altogether because this one has been spec'd with the available captain's chairs. And just like the front seats, they are incredibly comfortable and they provide an ample amount of space for any passenger. I'm right around 6'2", 6'3", and I don't have any trouble fitting in this car whatsoever. And the second row chairs also fold down with just the press of a button to provide access to the third row, which has slightly less legroom and slightly less headroom, but overall plenty big enough for any passenger. You could fit 2 good-sized adults back there, if not 3. Now taking a quick look at the infotainment system of the Telluride, you'll have to excuse these stickers all over the screen. This is a brand new car, of course, and I want to respect the dealership by not pulling those off. But I'd like to still show you around some of the features this thing has. Unfortunately, first thing that I noticed as soon as I turned this car on was that the home screen to return to the home of the infotainment system is on the opposite side of the screen. So if you're the driver and you're trying to control it, every time you want to go home, which is probably one of the most pressed buttons of the whole infotainment screen, you have to reach all the way over here to press it. Now, of course, if you have a passenger, it's easier for them to get to it, but for the majority of the time, the driver is going to be controlling it, and I wish they could have put it here where the radio button is. That just makes so much more sense to me. But anyway, it is touchscreen, so you get fairly decent sensitivity. Here we can see all the different menus. Comes standard with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay across all the trim levels. And something nice that Kia included was a custom button. Here it has a little star on it. You can actually program what you want that button to do. If you want to go to phone projection, Sirius XM data, UVO, whatever that stands for, or none, you decide what that button does. But once again, you're probably going to be using that fairly often if you get to decide what it does from this list of features here. So it would probably make more sense over here where the radio controls are. In fact, I would even say move the radio controls here to the steering wheel instead of the phone controls, because, I mean, who even uses phone controls in a car? I know I don't. I use the radio way more often. So it would make more sense if they moved some of the buttons around a little bit. But overall, it's really not too bad. You actually do have a home button right here on the screen itself, which is a little bit better. Still, I would prefer the physical button. You can go to all your apps here. Obviously, this car is brand new, so none of it's really configured that much. But overall, yeah, fairly nice infotainment system. I'd say pretty much par for the course for other cars in this segment. Now, I know the engine bay is not nearly as much fun to look at as the exterior or the interior of the Telluride, but it is pretty important, so I'm going to take a minute to talk about it here before I wrap this review up. The Telluride is powered by a 3.8 liter naturally aspirated V6, which puts out 291 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque, no matter which trim level you select. But if you opt for a higher trim level, you can have an available all-wheel drive system with a center locking differential for just a little bit more performance. And speaking of performance, that all-wheel drive model should get a combined 21 city highway MPG. And of course, I have to extend a huge shout out and special thank you to Loki Kia here in Clearwater, Florida, for allowing me to review not one, but two Kia Tellurides. So I'll leave a link to their inventory below, and if you're in the Clearwater, Tampa Bay area, definitely come by and check them out. It is worth the drive. They have a fantastic inventory and staff here. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching this in-depth review. Make sure to leave it a thumbs up. Comment your thoughts down on this car in the comment section below, and remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.